Hello, thank you for joining me today. Now, a few days ago, tremendous shockwaves went down the advertising and marketing industry, and that is because the CCI, or the Competition Commission of India, conducted raids on some of the largest media and ad agencies in this country, as well as on industry bodies representing associations of ad agencies, of advertisers, as well as of the media, namely broadcasters. Now, what do these developments mean for this industry that is small but high profile? And you must remember that the size and the growth of this industry is a direct reflection on the state of the economy. So, what do these raids mean for this industry? And more importantly, do they raise questions about industry practice and the sustainability of the business model of this industry in the future? To put these questions today, I am here at the Swamy office in Mumbai, the headquarters, and I'm talking to Shekhar Swamy. He's the managing director and the CEO of this agency, which is one of the oldest agencies in the country and now the largest public marketing services company to be listed on the stock exchange. Shekhar, thank you for making time for this conversation. And interesting times are the best way to describe what's going on, would you say?
Well, the Chinese had a saying, no?
We live in interesting
we live
times.
in interesting times. What they actually meant was, you will face a lot of challenges and you have to navigate them. I think this is one of those periods, and we have seen many, many challenges, and the industry is motoring along quite nicely. So, yeah, the CCI issue popped on everybody's mobile phones, and
a lot of conjecture ensued because there's no formal statement.
There is no statement from anyone. None of the media reports have carried any statements. It, whatever I'm saying is anecdotal and what little bits and pieces I've heard. So apparently, on a particular day, they descended on a bunch of offices, and they walked in, and it was a well orchestrated, inquiry or whatever words that are being used, and they gathered a lot of information. The important thing is, before something like this actually happens, obviously an authority like the CCI would have done a fair bit of homework. And we don't have visibility to what information they already have and what has prompted this.
So some of the conjecture that is floating around seems to be that media agencies, and via the industry body that they are part of, which is the AAAs of I, have decided to determine prices, media prices. What do you make of this conjecture? And is this standard practice?
I'm not sure. I think the word that was used was collusion between media agencies. I'm not sure if that is necessarily a practice. But I think it's important to go back and get a sense of where all this originated. And I think people are forgetting the history of this. There was a time when creative and media were all together.
The full service agency.
Full service model.
Yeah.
It fell apart. It started in France, actually. The French, somebody in the French industry decided that media is something they could hive off, and they started aggregating advertiser spends as a media volume, and then they would use that volume to negotiate with the media to get better rates. And this was supposed to be the model, and it became then a global practice. So very soon you had the full service agencies getting dismantled into a creative service and a media service and other services.
With the media agencies actually calling the shots for the entire pie, right? In most cases, especially the global agencies.
So what the global agencies did is they had multiple creative agents, multiple full service agencies. I remember the time when we were partners with BBDO, and BBDO had a media, creative, everything together. Then Omnicom came together and they took the media functions of each of their creative agencies, and then they aggregated it and put it into one group. This was done by all the holding companies. So the holy grail they were chasing was, let's get all the volumes together, then we can negotiate better. The story to the advertiser is, as we aggregate volumes, we'll give you better
deals.
Rates, or we are in a position to do better service for you. And the story to the media house was, we have the volume, so you have to give us a better rate or discount or whatever. So this was the model, and this was going on quite successfully. We actually refused to participate in it. So although we were asked to, go into a media group, R.K. Swamy said no. So we are not only, I mean, we are still standing as a full service advertising, marketing, communications company. We do service our clients, both creative and media together. We also have clients where we do only media, and we also have clients where we do only creative. So whatever works for the client, we follow that model. But we are a bit of an outlier. So most other companies have aggregated
the
their
media
function. Certainly the holding companies have done that, and that is a practice which has come in a way from
outside of India.
Outside, and so the media themselves were unprepared for it, but they have adjusted, and and this is now more than 20-25 years of
and
this
that's
kind.
the practice. So
That's the practice.
the question, I think, like you also suggested, is who is the agency serving, right? Because the advertiser is the client, and the advertiser is who I'm trying to give the best service to. The media happens to be another vendor. But here, from what I've been speaking to people to try and understand what is happening here, seems to be that the media agency, on the back of these big volumes of advertising that they are able to make available to media, commands some kind of a discount, incentive, bonus from the media companies. And the media companies are not just broadcasters. These are also publishers, that is newspapers and magazines, and they're also digital companies, right? So am I right if I say, therefore the question is, who are the agencies serving?
So I think it's a very valid question. Again, if you go back in time, your source of legitimacy and income was the client. We are clear that we serve the client. This aggregation of media volumes leads to certain other types of practices. So if my vendor, I'm using the word vendor, let's say my media partner is compensating me in some way, and the advertiser is compensating me in some way, and it's the same stream of, let's say the flow of funds is the same, then who am I serving? Who is the master? So there is an inherent conflict in this, and this is, I think, at the root of this problem in a way. And this was inbuilt when the disaggregation took place. The other piece about this is the advertiser has been and continuously driving down the compensation they're willing or able to pay. And this is aided and abetted by an agency ecosystem, which is also seeking advertiser contracts and has been constantly discounting their rates. So you have a marketplace which is discounting on one level, and you have an advertiser who's saying, oh, I can get this done at a lower and lower price. So you're getting squeezed. So where does it stop? And in the meantime, the media comes forward and offers you certain types of incentives, and then the whole system is
skewed,
is
completely skewed.
It's
right?
clouded,
Yeah.
And therefore that is an issue that absolutely needs to be addressed.
So inherently, the ability of an agency to earn, the business model on which it is based, this commission model, which is down now to what, 1%, 2%?
Sometimes it's even lower.
So,
but I'll give you one other.
Why is it that the agency businesses have not been able to guard what they see as their value that they offer advertisers? Something is going on here which I'm not able to understand.
So I've said this, it's in our annual report now, that the good thing about being public is you can put everything out there.
Yes, I'm going to come to that.
No, in this context, I'm saying that we have said that we are a professional services group in business. We are not, I'm speaking only of R.K. Swamy.
Yes.
We are not a business group in professional services. So we are putting a premium on what service I can render to the client. If that service is relevant, valid, and valuable, they'll compensate us appropriately. So it is entirely up to us to hold our price point. And if some price point is not viable for us, we must have the courage to say, sorry, it's not working.
But is it possible to do that? Because it is clearly very cutthroat in terms of how competitive it is. Otherwise, how would your commission rates be down to even less than 2% and 1%, like you said?
If you go back in time, there was a time when, if you go back really to the 19th century, I'm going back to the origins of this game.
Sure.
The commission was set by the media, given to the agent to go and sell their time and space.
Right.
Time bhi nahi tha us time pe.
Yeah.
There's only space.
Yes.
You go and sell the space, you take a commission. And this was an arrangement. Therefore, we were agents of the media.
Yes.
Along the line, it changed. That we became beholden to the clients, and the client was our customer.
Yeah.
But we were still getting a commission. So this whole business model has undergone a change. And in any case, in today's ecosystem in India, the publisher model says, I'll give you commission. The broadcaster model has done away with that completely. And therefore, this whole business of who's paying who is an open question. So clients clearly think they are the ones paying the agencies, which is correct. After all, the money flows. The start of the flow of the money is from the client.
Is the advertiser.
And then it flows through the agency to the media houses. So the commission model has collapsed. And then it goes into a creative retainer, and then the commission model is still supposed to be intact as a percentage on the media side. Again, we have models across the board. We have clients paying us full commission. We have clients paying us reduced commissions. We have clients paying us retainers and creative fees and production charges and so on and so forth. So this model is collapsed. As far as the media is concerned, the other important thing is there is no rate card. Where is the rate card? There was a time when there was a rate card. And you could say, okay, here is the rate card. Today there is no rate card. So it's a bit like the airline business. You know, the guy sitting next to me for the same flight, what is he paying? I don't know what he's paying. So the opacity in pricing is very, very significant, and that's another driver for all this.
So we don't know the specifics of what the CCI was looking for and what it'll find. We are still in the realm of conjecture, but these are obvious issues with the way the industry functions. Are there certain wake-up calls that will result from this particular development, you think? And do you think the industry is ready to together try and find these answers?
I think it is a wake-up call. There's no question about it.
I mean, those penalties sound really massive, right? 10% of turnover, I'm reading, for anybody who's found guilty.
Yeah, 10% of turnover or 3 times your profits or whatever the number is. Again, what I'm reading. So recently, after this development of the CCI, I guess I have to use the word raids, which is the word used. They used the word used. So the 3SFI has put out a legal advisory. So they went to somebody, and it's come to me. I'm not the representative on 3SFI, but it has come to me. I think the legal...
But you're a member of the association.
As we are a member of the association, we have received it. So it is done by a law firm called Trilegal. And the Trilegal has given very clear views on what the 3SFI as an industry body should do or should not do, and what it should be telling its members. So in that document, what struck me when I read it is, the legal view is that the 3SFI as an association should not be in an industry level agreement with any other industry body, be it the broadcasters or internet grouping or an outdoor or anybody. It is public knowledge that these industry level agreements do exist. Now, if you go by the legal opinion which the 3SFI has put out, then these agreements are not tenable. They should fall. So I guess at some point the wiser, I always say the village elders of the association and the industry will get together and address this, because You can't be operating in an environment which apparently, as per this legal document, is falling foul of the law. And that is obviously not sustainable. That is just one piece of it. So any industry level aggregation, which is let's say trying to govern the competitive practices, including credit norms and many other things, as per this legal note, is not sustainable, and they should address it. Now, if the CCI is serious, obviously they are serious because they've gone and collected a lot of data, then they should be very clear what those guidelines are, and they should, I believe that they will follow it through with some action. Whatever it is, I don't know.
We don't know what the CCI will do, but we now know that the AAAs of I at least is telling all its members that this is the right way to be and this is not the way to do things. And the established practice is now not the way to do things. So what is the new order that will emerge? How will this industry and how will agencies continue to work with, what are the new practices that should emerge, and what are the how do they stay competitive? Because a part of why this incentives were coming in from the media, and which was, so critical to the media agencies' business and profit and, bottom line, is because they were making less and less money from their from the clients, isn't it? So that problem, how does that problem get addressed? So there are two parts to my question, actually.
Yeah. So let's look at the structure and why these practices come. Think of any flow of business as a group of buyers and a group of sellers. Yeah. Okay, which is what any marketplace is. Now, what happens what has happened in this situation is the group of buyers, let's say the advertisers, are aggregated with a smaller, let's say, funnel through which they flow, which is the media companies. And the group of sellers, if they want to access the advertisers, also have to go through the same group of a small number of media companies. So think of this as an hourglass, right? So there is the flow is through a choke point.
Yes.
The power then shifts conceptually from is neither with the seller nor with the buyer. It is now in this hourglass structure. Till this is addressed in a structural way, these practices will continue. They may take different forms and they may take different shapes. But
so how could it be addressed?
See, one way is there was a time when it was not there, right? You cannot say now I'll go back to the genie is out of the bottle. You're not going to go back there. So one way is should they, if we are a company representing a client, this is a wild suggestion, and I don't see how this may or may not pan out. Should the advertiser be more directly taking responsibility for their spends? Should they be doing direct contracts with the media? And the company which is facilitating this is paid a reasonable and
So you mean disintermediation? So then what does the media company, the media agency do?
Media agency is an advisor. The flow of money is the issue. There is a role. There is a role for a group of experts to advise clients
on the best value for their media
on how they should go about it. I'm not discounting the role, but if in the process of executing that role, I take positions in media properties, I become somehow vested in that transaction, then it leads to distortions. And these are the practices then that need to be, it won't happen overnight, it may not happen at all, but at least as greater awareness comes in, many of these practices can be addressed.
So you've been in this business for a very long time.
Maybe too long.
Do you feel optimistic about change? Is it possible? Also, you went public exactly about a year ago. which is not, in this business, to have public companies is not that common, and you're the largest agency, full service, integrated marketing company that is listed. Do you see changes possible? And when you're a public company, the kind of transparency and scrutiny that you are subjected to, is this industry ready for something like that?
Well, we are ready.
Clearly,
we did it.
Yeah.
And this question has been posed to us, and I think the answer is we took the step. We are public. I am optimistic about the industry because I'll tell you, I come from a different space, I guess. So, first of all, you have to be very sure of what professional services we are entering. There is a space. We may be small in size, but we can punch above our weight. So, if you can genuinely provide that value, which is that, look, you have X amount of money spent in marketing, we can advise you, counsel you, work with you, execute for you in a manner which delivers results for you which are disproportionate to your investment. That is the holy grail, and we chase that every day. So we have we bring a lot of intelligence in terms of thinking, in terms of knowledge, in terms of what we know about the market, and we can apply it, and then we bring a lot of craft to this, and then the marriage of that is the execution, is what we finally deliver. And we have to then, those messages created have to be distributed in a sensible, intelligent way. The media ecosystem is incredibly fragmented today, which everybody knows. So there is a requirement to have, again, a high level of intelligence and information and so forth to make sure what is the right way to invest the money that the client has got as part of his marketing budget. So we are positive. I always say the more problems there are, the more opportunities there are for us. We are here to solve problems. So if somebody has a difficulty, then we have a role to play. So from that perspective, in a very broad way, we are confident of where we are. We took the steps. We are also very diverse in terms of the service disciplines that we offer. So it's not just marketing communications. In fact,
research is quite a key.
We have a very large piece and play in the consumer insight and research space. We have very large capacity that has been built over decades. We built a very solid data business. So customer data is very much integral to what we do. So when we aggregate it, this gives us the confidence to. So the media piece is important, but it's not the driver as far as RK Swamy is concerned. And therefore it frees us up in many, many ways. Of course, we want to continue to deliver an integrated service. And therefore we are very much partnering with the media companies. And we will continue to do that. So at a individual company level, we are pretty confident of where we stand. For the industry, there are some players who have a very high stakes in the media game. They have to sort this out. Be with us.
Do you see advertisers pressurizing the media agencies now as a result of the CCI event?
I don't have visibility to that, honestly. We don't go around checking all this.
It would also be a little naive to assume that the advertisers do not know what is happening, right?
Because they know very well.
Exactly.
They are very well aware. So they are aware, but they still need the service. They still need to place their messages in front of the consumers. The distribution of messages is a very important part of what they need to do. And therefore, yes, they are aware, and I'm sure there is a lot of conversation going on to actually what is the CCI matter and what is it, how does it impact us, and so on and so forth.
So you expect something new will emerge as a result of this shake-up?
I think it will. I think it will. I'll even say it should. Otherwise, what is the point of doing a raid and then what? You go to sleep? I don't think so. I don't think the government... this must have been thought through fairly carefully, and somebody is taken the lead to do this. What will happen? I don't know. But that, if this is just one little blip and life goes back to normal, I'm not sure if that...
But there's an opportunity here to invent or reformat the model on which this business is predicated.
Yes, there is. There is, and I hope the advertiser has to take the lead. It is their money. And that's where it starts.
Yeah. Tell me what the past year has been like for you as a public company. Has it been a very, I mean, what is the kind of public scrutiny? What does that meant to, the way business is conducted? Whether people who invest, especially retail investors, do they understand the business?
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. What they understand or don't. No, we have 30,000 shareholders. When we ended up, after the listing, we had a 26 times subscription.
Yeah.
The retail portion,
Yeah.
to answer your question, was oversubscribed within the first few hours of the issue opening, which was a kind of a surprise. But what we have heard consistently, again, this is, maybe we live in a bubble, so I don't know what the outside view is. Everybody who has come forward and participated in this, they all say, oh, you're a known organization, your name is trusted, we had this experience with you, we had that experience. I guess we've been around for 51, 52 years, so that is helpful.
Yeah.
And what has changed? I think in terms of business practice, frankly, not much, except that every quarter I have to have a story.
Yeah,
I have to put the numbers out.
Yeah.
Some quarters are okay, some quarters are not okay. And we have learned, I think, early enough that we are not going to play the quarterly game. So we are here to build a business for the long term. We are focused on that. We are investing for that. We are creating capacities for that. We are creating new disciplines for that. We believe in this as an enterprise for the long term. And why did we even do this? This industry is multinationalized.
Yeah,
Everybody
you're
knows.
the only fully Indian
So we are
owned
standing
business.
out.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were
You actually bought out your
We bought out.
multinational partner.
and in a very nice and friendly, amicable way, which is all good. So, you have to have a belief in the market. We are from here. We are, I keep saying this. I said this in my last gathering with our team also. We are Bhumiputras. We are sons of the soil. We believe in India. We believe in the India story. We believe that there has to be institutions and companies in our space which are anchored here, which are doing
But
what
the
is right.
capital is from here in that sense,
Capital,
right? Yeah,
organization, capacity,
yeah.
people, talent, knowledge, everything has to be. This is a large market. And with no disrespect to anybody from a multinational perspective, the multinational agencies, by design, have a multinational agenda. They cannot have an agenda for India. They do not have an agenda for India. I've heard it said repeatedly that, look, I'm interested in the top 100 global advertisers. And that is my interest. If you sit in New York or London or Japan or wherever, Paris, that is your view. Your primary purpose is to be close to your large advertising multinational clients. Each of them gives you 50, 75, 100, 200, $300 million in fees or revenues. Would you rather pay attention to that, or would you be worrying about a local brand in India? I mean, this is obvious, the answer. So where will your talent be focused? The multinational agencies will focus their talents on their multinational clients, which is fine, which is what they're there for. We have a different agenda. I'm not against multinationals. I love multinationals. We have them in our
as
roster
clients.
of clients, and we serve them as hard as we do with any other client. But I'm talking at a very fundamental level. What is the purpose with which we need to run? So we need to have I say this, we need a social purpose. Otherwise, life is frankly boring. I mean, what are we doing? We should sell out and get out.
So
I think we have a social purpose, and that is to help companies and institutions here.
let me ask you a question about the way this business is headed. We had news in the past year or so about how the media pie is now almost more than half, 60% of it is digital media. That's a big shift. We also know that digital media, performance advertising, performance marketing, all of that is data-based, data-led, and with all the new laws that are coming into place, data privacy, protection, companies or your advertisers, your clients are putting this bucket into their, within themselves, isn't it? How much of a challenge is that for a company like yours?
So
for this industry,
it is a challenge. I said every challenge and every problem is also.
But
an
how big a
opportunity.
challenge is it?
No, it's a good challenge. It is. The word digital is too broad
Sure.
in my understanding of it. You have digital, which is your search. You have digital, which is your advertising.
Yeah.
You have digital, which is videos. You have digital, which is peer-to-peer. You have digital, which are just platforms. You have digital, which is your own media. You have digital, which is data. You have digital, which is running campaigns on the back of data. So you disaggregate digital. You also have digital, which is, let's say, the e-commerce platforms, which are also drawing advertising. So when you say, oh, so much money is going into digital, what part of this digital ecosystem is effective? Where do we need to engage? How do we need to engage? What sense does it make to the brand? And how do we make the whole thing effective? This is the question that we are seized with. And we are mounting special studies on this. And we will do it. We created, as part of our journey, we created something called the R.K. Swamy Center for Study of Indian Markets. This is a center which is close to my heart, certainly, and many people in our company have bought into this. Let's put out some original work. Let us go and study this. Let us do work which nobody is interested in investing in. We'll do it. Because we have the mandate, we have the interest, first of all, and we want to know what is going on in the marketplace. And our clients are willing to support us in this. So there is a problem. After all, digital is Google and Meta and all these platforms. They are taking away a chunk of the change.
Yeah.
And everything is self-serve.
It's not chunk and it's not change.
Well, you get the message. So, but it's all, it's their own information.
Yeah.
It's self-certified information.
Yeah.
How much of it? How many clients have sat, you're sitting in a conference room with me. How many clients have sat in this conference room and said, hey, is this thing really working? Tell us about it. It's a doubt. Everybody has that doubt.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not against Googles and Facebooks.
No,
and
but there are questions and there are challenges that need to be addressed.
Yeah, of course. And these are good. And as professionals, this is what we need to be doing. So, if I tie it back to your the question on discounting, I don't want to be in the discounting game. It's a waste of my time. We want to play at the higher end. Whoever is willing,
creating value.
We need to create value, and that value comes at
Can't just be a better price, right?
No. And that value, there are enough people who are willing to pay us what we seek. So we'll play in that space. That's fine.
Well, it was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for making the
Anuradha.
time. We'll
Thanks
keep
for
talking.
Coming
Thank
you. Join us in the office. And
we'll take a look around. It's such a beautiful building. This is a heritage building. It's quite beautiful. Thank you.